Good afternoon, ADOS. This is BJax with Black Views, and today we'll be talking about the difference between ADOS members and we'll say foreigners or immigrants or people of color. There's a big confusion about what exactly that is and who that is. And it really shouldn't be. And let's just go back a little bit. No other group should be calling themselves African American other than the ADOS, American descendants of slaves. No other group. And I'm going to explain to you why. In the beginning, we were called niggers. Then we were called Negroes. Then we were called colored. Then we were called black. And then they decided to monumentally call us African Americans. So if your people never started out as nigger in America, there's no way you can claim African American. And that's real. And these are facts. Other people may not like it, but this is the cloak and dagger upon which others have taken advantage of opportunities that solely belong to the African American. There are groups that come in here that claim themselves to be African American, and guess what? They take on certain services. They take on certain benefits that were implemented and put in place for black people. Let's talk about Kamala Harris, for instance. Okay, these are facts, all right? The things that I'm about to say, they're facts. Her mother is Indian, from India, and her dad is Jamaican. These are facts. This isn't to smear her, not making up anything. These are facts. Okay, so at some point in time, her mother or her parents moved here to continue school, okay? They lived in Thousand Oaks, which is in California, which is a great part of California, Berkeley, rather, and great communities, and nice houses, by the way. So, for her to move here, okay, and then to go to a HBCU, once again, she could have went to any other white university or whatever, but they went to a HBCU. So I bet that entail also took a spot from an African American who could have went to that school. Let's just be technical. This is how the white people speak as well. Okay, that's a spot that was given to someone that could have went to an ADOS person. These are facts. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to cause separation or divisiveness. I'm just being factual with what I'm saying. Then she now rises to the rank of a senator, I believe, and now she wants to run for president. And so now suddenly she's African American. So you see, I just broke down to you. I don't believe anyone in her ancestry or anyone as far as her parents fall under the nigger status of America. Not saying they never called a nigger. I'm just simply saying they were not technically niggers of America. So when you think about that, there's no way she could be African American. And that's just a small example of how other groups come in and they kind of take over our agenda, and then they become some type of representative of let's say the black people. Let's say, yeah, they're representatives of black people, but they don't say anything that benefits black people. They just kind of represent or be a color to say that, yeah, black people are involved in politics. Black people are a part of this country, when actuality we're not. To someone that put in place who doesn't do anything for you, or doesn't even really, like for instance, it should be an oxymoron for a candidate or representative for presidency to get up on the podium and say nothing that he wants to do for black people, just black people. That doesn't make any sense, because you have to think about it. When a white man gets up and gets on the podium and he talks about things to make America great, he's talking about white people. The white people have confidence in him that what he's talking about is going to benefit white children and white families and white women. So let's go back to this. So now we have someone that wants to say or believe that they are African American. I don't believe she thinks she's African American. She knows she's not, but she's trying to run as that candidate. It's the same way they did Obama, and they duped us with that. So now they want to try to do it again. So now when we open the borders, that's the whole plan. Open the borders, and then eventually we will drown out the ADOS. We don't have to pay them anything because we don't know who they are. They're gone now. They disappeared. So think that's just something to think about. Think about that for a second. And to think today, we have a government that's, they're backwards. You can call it ass backwards if you like. But this is a backwards government, okay? Now, we're supposed to be in America where we have a government that's supposed to take care of its people. We have a federal government. And not only that, we have state governments and local governments, okay? Each one of these governments have representatives for every, area. And you should know who they are if you are, I guess, a registered voter. So let's think. You have immigrants coming to America, and you actually have cities and states that are saying, yes, bring them to us. We will take care of them. Now let's take in consideration, what does care mean? Housing. Care means food, electricity, services, medical services, and these sort of things, okay? Now, they're going to go to these cities and they're going to go to these states. And these states are going to take care of them because they're great Americans. But right in their backyard, they have ADOS members, black people, okay, who can't afford their rent, who can't afford to eat, who don't have electricity, men who have mental illness, who are walking up and down the street high as a kite. But you can bring in other people from across the border and willfully say, yeah, we will take care of them in some kind of great American gesturely way. But yet, in your own backyard, you got ADOS right there. Now tell me about that, brother and sisters. Now tell me about that. What should that representative of that area be saying in rebuttal? Where is that at? How come there's no CNN report where some representative is standing up and taking a stance against such rhetoric? Come on now. And that's why we have to have this black media. If anybody that's listening to this, buy you a microphone so that you can have the opportunity to say the things to rebut all the ridiculous things that you have heard on TV for many years and never had an opportunity to respond. Say, get you a microphone and speak on these matters. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the American way. That's the American way. There's a brother up in Baltimore. His store, he has a store for the community. His store was raided 8 times by the Baltimore police. 8 times. And actually came in there and arrested his son, saying that basically he had large quantities of, I think, some type of drug, abominable fluid, or something rather, PCP, something like that. Well, basically, those charges were dropped because basically they were not whatever the police said this. But the story is basically that 8 times this man's store had been raided, and 8 times they found nothing. And this is a store that serves that community. Now let's think about this for a second, especially ADOS. See, this is what we all have in some type of connection, is that where mostly ADOS people live, you already know there are people that call it the hood. Okay, and I say that because outsiders will call any area where black people live the hood. Okay, as if you have different places where there may be people, hey, we got people in poverty, But then you have, ADOS members that basically have, maybe middle class homes and so forth. But anyway, in both of these communities, there are foreigners who have stores there, and we can name them all. They're not just one. It's like two or three, and when I call them foreigners, they may be actually Americans. They could be probably first generation, or they could still be current immigrants. But they have a store in your house, which is a pipeline to basically their lifestyle. It's a pipeline to their family, to their family's success in America. And these are carryouts, nail shops, sometimes barber shops too. The foreigner, and when I say foreigner, I still say it respectfully, because I can understand why someone would want to leave where they come from. But the point is that black people are so receptive to anyone else thinking that they're going to join the cause of the fight that we totally go blind. Back to what I was saying. You have Indians, you have Arabs, you have Africans, and I can go down the list of different groups that have stores in your neighborhood. But when the black group tries to create or tries to empower, it's torn down. It's looked at as some type of hub for illegal activity. It's raided 8 times, 10 times. And when I look at these businesses, these local businesses of these other groups, I just see them making money. Hand over fist. The subways, and they're actually buying up the franchises. So you can't tell either. Your Burger King is owned by somebody. Every goddamn thing up and down your street is owned by someone else, another group. But when are we going to wake up? The power is in your participation. If you don't participate at these local non-ADOS stores and groups, then that dollar will stay with us. This is how you can begin to start making a movement. You don't have to call it a movement, but this is everybody's opportunity to pitch in. Why can't we cook? There may be some areas, unfortunately, where kids are not getting cooked meals, and I understand that. But what my story is about is how every other group is in our area and get paid. And we are the ones that's paying them. The service is bad. They look at you like any kind of way. You go in some of these Asian shops, man, it is the most greasiest potholes I've ever seen in my life. I know, I grew up around it. I knew kids that was their dinner. They had like $3 or $4. I think they always had like shrimp fried rice special, $2.50, with 2 wings, some craziness, some shit like that. That was not good for us. But that's what we ate. Cause we ain't no shit. 7-Elevens, it's a pipeline for their family's success. How many times do you go to 7-Eleven and it's a different guy, a different foreigner in that motherfucker who don't speak proper English? And then they kind of rotate, then you come another time and it's another one. I can count on one motherfucking hand how many ADOS people I've ever seen work in a 7-Eleven. And in most places, if you do see a black person in some of these foreign shops, that he's there to fend off the animals and shit. Like he's the liaison to the city shit. To the hood niggas, the dope boys. Like when they come, hey, what's up? He's supposed to know all of them, and basically, so they don't rise up and smack one of these motherfuckers. He's there to kind of make things peace. Like, just think about this for a second. It's like we're pilfered from every direction. from every direction. And then we sit here like it's not happening. Athletes get on TV, you know, they say whatever the hell, you know, they're gonna say for the people that's buying their jerseys. That's what matters to them. How many motherfucking jerseys they gonna sell? And then we just sit here and then we live through that for our own success. Like, okay, so if Jordan won his 7th motherfucking ring, the people in Chicago, the black people in Chicago feel great. And like he represents us because he has a big house. Like that's how black people think. That's how we think this shit. And this motherfucker, when the microphone is put in his face, he don't say nothing that basically, you know, at least they have some shit like, you know, make, you know, hey, you know, to encourage young black men or something. No, they just go straight up, you know, with corporate. Like, hey, you know, I don't want to lose no deals and shit. You know, Kaepernick is really the only athlete that I kind of really look at and say, man, he put it all on the line. He lost millions, and he was a good quarterback. He lost millions, and guess what? People still talking shit, and black people letting them talk shit. They don't say shit. They just sit there and like, because some of them want to be white. And see, though, and 9 times out of 10, those are people that are not ADOS. You know, they from the Bahamas, or they from, you know what I'm saying, or some of us like me. My mother's from Honduras, but my father's from here, and I lived that motherfucking experience. So guess what? That is my motherfucking lineage. My last name is Jackson, and that's a motherfucking slave name. Okay, so I understand, you know, what my grandmother's motherfucking went through, and how the men were missing and shit, and how like, you know, think about why the fuck they was missing. We get demonized so much. Black men get demonized so much as losers and all kind of like we don't have a motherfucking voice. Now everything is about, you know, the black woman, and that's okay, sisters. But I'm just saying, like, y'all gotta see through that. Y'all gotta see through that, and guess what? Y'all know black men are important. Whether if you want to be by yourself or motherfucking not, black men are important, because if any other group come running down that street like they're gonna whip some ass, y'all will want us to come to order and bring order. So we are important, whether you want one or not. And those are facts. I want to thank you for listening. All right. If you like the content, click the like. Also, you can subscribe. Thank you once again. I'm doing all I can to put a message out, try to put something out every week. Basically talking about ADOS. And talking about the tangibles that we should be getting and the things that need to be spoken about with our leadership. So thank you and have a good day.